In New York City, we're just hours away from the ball drop, but obviously no crowds this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. And, families have had to really be creative in the ways that they're celebrating this year. We're being joined by Fox 5 DC's Lindsay Watts, who's there live for us in Alexandria, Virginia. And, Lindsay, you're right. People have had to kind of come up with creative ways to celebrate and ring in the new year. What are you hearing that people are doing this year?
Well, we are at an event called First Night Alexandria, and this has been around for 26 years. Obviously, it looks very different this year, but you really have to hand it to the organizers for keeping the tradition alive. So typically, there's live entertainment, a lot of activities for kids. This is a really big event for families in the D.C. region. And this year, what they did is they had people pay per car to drive up here in this parking lot and then watch a show on the big screens there. You don't hear any noise because people turn on their car radios, they program into a certain radio station, and then they can listen to the music. There's been some comedy, and then in a little while there's going to be a fireworks show on the screens. Typically, there's a huge, beautiful fireworks show over the Potomac. People miles around always love to see that. So that is not happening this year. But again, you got to hand it to the organizers because they're trying to just make the best of this year and still provide something for families to do. People I've been talking to told me, we just wanted to get out of the house and do something. So people are celebrating in their car, obviously a little early. We got a round of people that came here at 6:30 tonight. They're going to be heading out in about an hour, and then they have another group of cars that will be coming in at that time. And the organizers have said this was sold out, so there was clearly a lot of interest, again, for people just to sort of get out of their house, even if they're just sitting in their own cars with their own family and friends watching a celebration on the big screen.
Yeah, that's so interesting, Lindsay. Kind of give us a sense of, that's a huge parking lot, and give us a sense of how many cars are actually there. Obviously, there are several hours to go before midnight. And so, from what I understand, you were saying it's kind of a rotation. There'll be people coming in and going. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So there was a group, and I need to find out exactly how many. To be honest, it was a lot more cars initially. When I was coming in here at around 6 o'clock, there were lines of people to get in. And after I think you sit in your car with your kids for like an hour and a half, you can see how, you have the best intentions, but maybe you want to take off. So we have seen some people leave early, but there are still, I would say, at least 50 to 100 cars that are here now, and then we are expecting this next wave of people to be coming in just about an hour from now. I think the next show will be starting at 9:30 and going until about 11:30. So it will end before midnight, but this is supposed to be a family-friendly event, so a lot of times in other years, people just come to hang out with their kids for a little while, and then they go home to get the kids in bed.
All right, and that fireworks display over the Potomac will be definitely something worth seeing. Lindsay Watts there from Fox 5, live for us in Alexandria, Virginia. Thanks for your time, and have a good New Year's Eve, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
All right, and we'll be having live reports like that throughout the night here on NewsNOW from Fox. Just reporters in the field who are kind of highlighting and capturing the different ways people are celebrating. We just showed you one from Phoenix, there from one outside of Washington, D.C. and Virginia. And like you said, if you're a family with young kids and you just want to get out of the house, that was a great way to do it there in that parking lot. You can honk your horns when the fireworks go off, and you can watch on the big screen a lot of performances as well. We've seen that a lot this year, especially when it comes to campaign events. Remember, 2020 was the big year for the general election, the presidential election, but we saw a lot of the events take place. These drive-in rallies, people from their cars honking for their preferred candidates. So the coronavirus has had and made people have to be a little more creative with the ways in which people hold events, because crowds have not been a thing this year, as is the case in Times Square in New York City. And here that is a live picture of the stage And we'll be bringing you live coverage of all of the festivities surrounding Times Square and New York City coming up here on News Now from Fox into the wee hours of the morning.